Welcome to CrossTalk. My name is Kevin Tachi. I will be your host for the next 29 minutes. Every show I give you a little bit of a mission statement as to what it is that this program looks to or seeks to deliver to you, the viewer. The idea of the program is to better inform you as a Whitman and Hanson resident or those beyond who might be viewing it. And the topics and the items that we discuss usually will be the nature of community events, maybe topics or issues that are affecting the community or the region. Today we have a special guest. We have Juvy Hartweg. She serves in both roles, not only as a member of the Hanson Recreation Commission, but also is the president of the Hanson Rockland Rotary Club. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. That was quite a bit of that was a great introduction.
For folks who don't know, I've kind of given the basic shell of who you are and some of the things that you serve the community. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved, not only to become a Rotarian, but wanted to get involved with the community by serving on a board?
So we moved to Hanson about 16 years ago, and I didn't have a child in school yet, so I didn't know how to get involved in this community. I had been in another community. I grew up in Dedham, and so it's a little bit further away, and I just felt that I needed to get to know my neighbors, and I found the Rotary Club. I was their youngest member when I first joined, not so much anymore, time flies. I've been a Rotarian now for about 14 years, 15, I think this is my 15th year. And it was just a great way to meet people in town, and I've been fortunate enough to have been part of some great programs and community type of projects that have I think, given me some value in my life.
What is the importance of being a Rotarian? Do you think that everybody understands what it is to be a part of an organization like that, an organization that gives back to the community?
I think there's a lot of confusion, definitely a lot of confusion, so I'm glad that you asked, because I think a lot of people have kind of misconceptions of what the Rotary Club is, because it has changed. There has been some change in the makeup of the Rotary Club, and also, social values, et cetera. So to be a part of a Rotary Club or any civic organization, because we are one of a few in town, it really means, I think I'm going to use the Rotary motto, which is service above self, and it's really a focus on community. So that's the big word for us is community, giving yourself to your community to just feel like you're a part of something bigger. And so when you become a Rotarian, it's really the focus is at a local level, giving value to the best of your ability. You don't have to be, rich. You don't have to be incredibly, intelligent. I think the biggest value that you need to bring to a Rotary Club or any civic organization is just your willingness to serve your community. So that's it.
Is that a similar situation with being on the Hanson Recreation Commission?
I think so. Yeah, I think I love Camp Kewanee, and my children grew up there, so this is kind of a sentimental value there. Several years when my kids were smaller, it was a really nice place to go. It was a terrific resource. And so it's kind of the same idea. So as a Rotarian, it fits very well. So it's very nice to marry those two things together. So I think it was a natural way for me to give back to my town, more specifically a place that I love so much, that my children also love so much.
Knowing that the commission, when you look at the different boards and commissions that one could serve on, I mean, you could be a selectman or a select person, and that's kind of like governance of the town, and you're talking about municipalities and funding and stuff like that. You look at school committee, and it's more, the vein is education. I think the recreation part of it is a chance to help folks realize an asset like Camp Kewanee and maybe put on some fun events. Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the things that the commission, you guys are trying to put together for 2020. Not that you're speaking for the commission, but as someone who is in on the meetings and having the conversation, what are some things that you're enjoying about some of the plans for the coming year, especially with a new rec director, and Billy Boyle, who's a great guy?
Yes, we're very excited. There are a lot of great changes. So there's a lot of positive energy. There's really a lot of excitement about change. And I'm thrilled to be in this commission with, I think there's, if I'm mistaken, 6 other members that are as committed and excited about bringing all of those good things to Camp Kewaunee, because the camp is really a gem. And we keep saying that, we keep saying the word gem, and it is. And I think from my perspective anyway, being able to kind of shine that up a little bit, because it's been kind of hidden. We want to showcase that and give Hanson more pride in the fact that we have this in our town. And so some of the exciting things that we're coming up with will involve a lot of community. So we're opening up the camp to not just Hanson, but also Whitman, which is a close neighbor, Pembroke. You know, Hanson borders so many communities. We have Halifax, East Bridgewater, Rockland, all of these close communities, Hanover on one tip, I think, of Hanson. We're so close to so many communities that the camp really could almost be a regional gem for a lot of families. And you know, as an educator, I'm a teacher, I think that you can do a lot of learning beyond the classroom walls. And Camp Kewaunee has that environmental aspect to it too. You can hike there, you can spend time with your family there. So a lot of the events that we're planning are going to focus on getting everyone, your grandmother, your mom, your brother, just everyone to come to this place and realize that it really is a place for everyone.
Right, and not necessarily just Needles Lodge or the Cranberry Cove. There's so many different aspects of that, and we've actually taped events there. I should say, not necessarily just events. I know that one of my colleagues here, Carol Brewster, there was a water. They had folks came in and discussed water and the importance of taking care of this natural resource. And it wasn't just people who were caring about the water at Cranberry Cove or any of the bodies of water in Hanson, but this was regional. And then a lot of folks came together, and it was a conference that we covered over a couple of days, which was fantastic.
Yes, and those are the kinds of things that we want to have more of at Camp Kewaunee. So I think that was an environmental expo, and so that's what we'd like to do. In fact, we're going to be hosting wedding expos, because Camp Kewaunee is just a wonderful option for weddings. So picturesque, right? In the winter, in the summer, in the fall, just so we're hoping to have more of those type of things, just to show that the camp is really can be very vibrant, and again a great source of income for the town of Hanson. That's another aspect of it.
And LT, when you mentioned picturesque, the first thing that popped into my head is we have actually taped shows there. We did a Bring It On show. The host is Bob Hayes, who was there with Michael Ganshert, who is the president of the Whitman Hanson Dollars for Scholars, and we're talking about that, and it was right out of the back deck with the water in the background. It was fantastic, and we even did a yoga show there, and it was so fantastic. We did so the aesthetics, as far as the visual aesthetics, are fantastic. If we could kind of transition from, at least just for a moment, from Camp Kewaunee and the hat that you wear as a member of the Hanson Recreation Commission to being the president of Rotary, what are some of the things that are in the planning stages for Rotary?
So Rotary, actually, we have some of the key things that we always have every year. So we have an annual golf tournament. We honor actually the memory of one of the beloved secretaries at McQuan School, Carolyn Reddy golf tournament. We're so proud of that particular tournament because I think this is going to be our 27th year. And that tournament helps fund the scholarships that we give out. And just to give you a sense of our club, lots of Rotary clubs are on the larger scale. They have 50-something members. For our Rotary club, we have about 12 members. So it's I'm proud of this fact that, there are 12 of us, but we're quite active, and we raise several $1,000s to give away to Whitman Hanson, to Rockland High School, Silver Lake, Pembroke High School, and the South Shore Votech. So I feel that, quite a few people, I think they get overwhelmed with the need, and, maybe they want to kind of understand that you can do every little bit that you contribute helps. So our scholarships are kind of like a proud legacy of our Rotary Club. Like I said, 27 years is a big deal. Most golf tournaments don't last that long, but ours does, and we have that annually. But we've also thrown in a bunch of different community type things. The Pizza Bowl we had for many years.
Right.
Yeah, so
at the regional high school.
At the regional high school, we were unable to do that this year. We just had so many projects come up, and the next one that we're going to be hosting is the Notable Woman. That one is going to showcase 4 really outstanding women. We did it last year, and we had a wonderful event, and it really met the goal that we had, which was to celebrate women and their accomplishment. And I can tell you, as a Rotarian, the Rotary Club did not have women until 1987, I think it was. So it was very recent. I think I was, in grade school. So it was in my lifetime. So having women, in a Rotary Club, and for me, that the Notable Woman was sort of like a full circle, and I love to see other women who are inspiring, and I think it's a great message to share with boys and girls, of this generation, that with hard work and character, you can create some big things, and they don't have to be, these at the national level. It could be something very simple. So these women that we're going to be showcasing, they're the women that are behind the scenes, that participate in maybe a fundraising event that donates to the food pantry. There are a lot of those unsung heroes, I'd say. So because our work is community, so when we find other people that already do the Rotary thing and not be a member, it's something we want to definitely promote and celebrate. So
when is your event to recognize these women, and what's the process of recognizing or nominating these individuals? Will you pare it down, or will it matter as to how many nominations you receive? So
we have a committee that actually narrows it down, and we do have a category. So we always think about the motto, the Rotary motto of service above self. We think about women who have shown a history of service. So, several years. We're not talking about somebody that just came on the scene like a year ago. We're talking about last year's women. They had decades of service, and so we take a look at that. We take a look at also the impact of what they've done. So we had a woman last year from Abington. She started the concert series in Abington. That's a big deal. People enjoy that. That's been kind of a repetitive thing. Last year, just because I know her personally, Laura Fitzgerald Kemet, she was chosen because our Rotary Club has worked with her on so many different things. So we do have a category, but currently it's the different clubs that are part of this are taking a look at the different women that come to mind that we've either worked with or that we've seen on cable or in the paper doing some fantastic things.
And when are you hoping to hold the event? And what is entailed in the event itself? Is it a banquet? What happens?
So it is a banquet. So for the Rotary clubs, and I explained to you that our Rotary Club is on the smaller side. We're working with Abington Rotary Club. In Rotary, one of the other special things that we try to focus on is fellowship. So we're reaching out to other local Rotary clubs, and it's going to be a free dinner for our 4 nominees and their families and friends, and we're going to invite certain town officials to come in there, because at one point in time they've probably worked together. So we have a dinner. We celebrate each woman by having somebody significant in their life. We ask them to choose who it is. For the different women last year, some of them asked their family members to read it out loud. So it was very emotional, very powerful, because when you do this work, it takes time away from your family. So, but when your children, live through it and they value it, it becomes like a personal
teaching tool.
Absolutely, and so it was really powerful. And so we're going to have a dinner, give each woman a presentation, and we usually have a slideshow that we'd like cable to actually share, which we did last year, and it's just photographs of these women living their personal and professional lives. So you can see them as mothers, you can see them, as professionals, or friends, and just some of the community work that they've done. I know I enjoyed putting together Laura Kemet's video, because some of those photographs I recall from seeing some of the work that she's done. So that's basically the gist of it. We try to fund the event. Currently we're trying to write grants and get sponsorships, but that's really what the Rotary Club depends highly on, is the kindness and the generosity of local businesses and also foundations. So that's one of the things that we're working towards, so that way we can provide this event for free.
Do you have any upcoming fundraisers that will be geared towards that you might want to mention? Or
we do, and it's very recent, where we try to do as much as we can in town. In fact, we often try to do it at Camp Kiwanee, and we have. Last year we did a comedy night. This year we're going to support another local business in town. So it's going to be at the Meadowbrook Restaurant. It's a murder mystery.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to use some of those funds. Perhaps also we often do other events. I can't think of one specifically for that, but I know the murder mystery is going to help with some of our future activity, like the Notable Woman. But last year we were so fortunate that local businesses stepped up. We had also local fire and police that donated an ad to celebrate the women, and I think that made the women also feel valued and recognized. So we do reach out to other civic organizations as well. So.
You mentioned grant writing. Do you have someone who has that expertise? Because that's an asset and a skill set that not many organizations desire. Do you have somebody who's like that it's a part of year 12? It's you.
Trial by error. So, as an educator, you're always asked to be creative about the funding. So I started several years ago just trying for smaller grants, and I think my first one was maybe $200, and woo! And then I also have written some cultural council grants that was wonderful to have, and then you see the fruits of your labor, come to. In fact, the Hanson Cultural Council was generous enough to fund a Filipino cultural dance in Hanson, which
that happened over the summer.
Yes.
Okay.
I was particularly proud about. I'm a Filipino American, so that was really neat. So grant writing is really crucial because there are foundations out there, but just navigating their missions and matching it up to yours, being very clear about what you do. So for the Notable Women, we already have a good year of to show. So we've got the numbers, we've got video, so it's much easier to write a grant for something like that because you're not visualizing anymore. You have the product, you can see it. So that's our hope, to make it bigger and bigger every year.
Not to digress, but the event that you had mentioned, I actually volunteered. There were 3 churches, I believe, that were involved. My church that I attend, the Calvary in Hanson, was one of the 3, and I remember seeing the Filipino dance, which was fantastic. So it's just interesting that you mentioned that. It's just brought up because it was a great time had by all, and it was, again, the idea was outreach to the community, and it's one of those things that nobody was making money, but the idea was to get the community to be involved in an event like this as a kind of a come together. Talking about that, you have a small group of Rotarians. What's the membership drive like? Do you seek members on a regular basis?
That's probably our biggest shortcoming, is that we're so comfortable. We're a kind of club that we do have the friendship, and some of our club members like I said, I've been there for 14 years. You get comfortable. And we do ask people that we know, our friends, but we don't have a very specific membership drive, which this is, my year had been so focused on trying to do more of the PR and the marketing, because so many civic organizations just don't take advantage of this kind of a resource. This is an excellent resource. And so thank you for, doing this, because I do want to show that this is something that all Rotary clubs can access, and there is some value to sharing your mission, because I think it's a better ask to get a member. You're not asking them necessarily to be a member, but you're showing them what your club's about. And when you join a Rotary club, in essence, you're joining a family. And so we are very relaxed. We meet at the Old Hitching Post. Andrea Casares, who is the owner of Old Hitching Post, is also a member of the Rotary Club. She's super flexible, and she just, she treats us really well. And every Thursday night, I look forward to going to see my Rotary members, because although we do a lot of business, there's a whole lot of fun. We tease each other, we know enough about each other that we can, it's a comfortable conversation. So I think our focus for the membership drive moving forward is to reach out to residents in Hanson and Rockland, because our club technically covers that, but it's also open to other folks that live in other communities. Peter Leveroni, who is a co-owner of Passaro Leveroni Insurance in town, has been a Rotary member for, I think, over two decades. He does not live in the community, but his business has been in Hanson for that long. We have a lot of those kinds of folks. So if you have a business in Rockland or Hanson, and you want to have more of a community outreach, this is a good club to be. This has always been a professional network of either business owners or business leaders. So our focus for our club is, this is fellowship and fun. This isn't an extension of your work. This is you coming to have dinner and feeling good about the value that you're able to put in whatever way you can give. You give what you can. You do what you can with what you have. So that's our attempt, but it's a little bit more challenging.
It's funny when you mentioned Old Hitching Post, because how often have I seen you, me and my significant other, dine there on a regular basis. We're big fans. We dine locally. We probably have about 30 different restaurants that we go to. You mentioned Meadowbrook, and we go there every so often, because my significant other likes salad there, so we will go there.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Old Hitching Post, and that's, I've seen you on a regular basis over there with your fellow Rotarians, and as you're meeting and discussing some of these things. So it's good to see that organizations are using local businesses to not only give back, but also to come up with ideas for the betterment of the community as well. So is there anything we haven't touched upon in the past 20 minutes that we've been sitting here and chatting, but you feel is important to at least get across to folks about your organization or your work in the communities? Because don't forget, we did start out talking about you being a member of the Hanson Recreation Commission. We can always digress back to that if there's anything that we have not mentioned, that there are upcoming events that you may want to tease the folks about, and for them to look for further information.
Absolutely, yes, and I think this is, and I thank you for giving us this opportunity. We have a Facebook page that I think we really do need to focus on a little bit more. So does Camp Kiwanee, and you'll see that we often kind of marry some of our events together, because we sponsor some things at Camp Kiwanee. So I think asking community members to support the Rotary Club by simply going on the website, liking it, sharing some of the events, attending them, obviously. So we are going to, say, for example, for Camp Kiwanee, I know last year the Easter egg hunt was exciting, and we're going to do that again this year. So we want families, not just from Whitman and Hanson, because we did have quite a few families from Whitman Hanson come, but our target is to see if we can reach out to Pembroke, Halifax, Hanover, Rockland, they're all, Hanson is maybe landlocked, but we have so many communities that, we can reach out to. So sharing those events is powerful, because when we have those events, it's a form of advocacy. I always say people seem to think that, you have to donate, hundreds of dollars to an organization. A simple word, a kind word about an organization, giving somebody, a link to, hey, this weekend, instead of going to do something else, support a Rotary Club. Instead of, going to the movies, maybe consider going to, the Rotary Pizza Bowl, which we didn't have this year, but we will moving forward. So, or go to the Rotary Fishing Derby. Those are just some fun ways also for people to get connected to their community. If you've never felt connected to Hanson because you're so busy and you don't have that opportunity to do so outside of the school, we attempt to, to do things that can kind of get you to meet your neighbor. So we do participate. We're excited to participate in Hanson's 200th celebration. We're doing that. Hanson Day, we don't know at what capacity, but we're always ready to participate. This year we teamed up with a Kiwanis Club, and that's another kind of important thing for me. I like synergy. I like things to kind of mesh. I was saying to you, 2 birds with 1 stone, right? But this past, the community, the Hanson Holiday Fest that we had a hot cocoa bar with the Kiwanis Club, and it was a lot of fun. And so those are the other type of things that we want to start doing, so that people know that we're here, and feel free to ask us what we do, because I know a lot of people don't have a sense of what a Rotary Club is, and we'd love for you to come to dinner on Thursday night, Old Hitching Post, and see what we're about.
Closing moments here. You mentioned a Facebook page, website, or is there an email that we can flash up on the screen momentarily? So folks, if they want to find out more about Rotary, they want to find out more about the events that you're holding or hosting, how can they do that?
So we have a Facebook account. So we were chartered Rockland Hanson Rotary 50 years ago by the Abington Rotary Club. So that's why we have a really close relationship with them. With Rotary clubs, in order to come into existence, you have to have another club charter you. So our website is rocklandhansonrotary.org. I'm going to have to verify that, but I believe it's rocklandhansonrotary.org. It's been in existence for several years. We've had several Rotarians really work hard to post pictures that we have. So I think our focus right now is that marketing and PR, because even though we've had those things, we haven't had the message out in a way that has been impactful, and that people are starting to recognize the Rotary Club. So some of the things that I think people come to us about is, can women join Rotary? Because many of them maybe remember that only men were in Rotary. Yes, absolutely. You can join the Rotary Club, and we'd love to have you. Come join us.
Well, that's all the time that we have. Thank you very much for coming on. Maybe with this show, we've planted the seed, and maybe you could host your own Rotary Club show here on WHCA or another organization. Something to keep in mind.
Thank you.
You got it. And that's all the time that we have. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of CrossTalk. And if you want to get involved, if you want to know more, maybe there's a program you want to suggest, easy enough. info@WHCA.tv is the best way to do that. And until the next time.